Okay, guys, the first month of 2025 is done, and we read some great books. At least I did. Did you have a good month?
Yes, I had a great month. This is the first month in a long time that I haven't read 10 plus books, so it feels a little strange to me.
She's in recovery.
We are savoring what we read. We are reading with intention. It is quality over quantity over here, and I am deep in my old man fantasy hole, and I never want to get out. So we're having a great time. Yes, we're having a great time. Thank you for asking.
It does help that we have these videos to do every single month where we get to reflect together and give you spoiler-free reviews of all the things that we read.
Yes.
If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe so that next month you don't miss out. Here we go. This is what we read, and this is what we thought. We're going to start off with the chunkers.
So in December, I started The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, which starts with The Eye of the World. Honestly, just memorizing the titles of all of these books, it's a feat, okay? Like, I do get them confused, so bear with me. So I read books 2, 3, 4, and 5. I read The Great Hunt. These covers, guys, don't come for me. I'm obsessed with them. I love the 90s covers with my whole heart, how cheesy they are. And I did The Dragon Reborn, which is book 3. And then I did The Shadow Rising.
Yeah, I can see why these titles would be confusing.
Right? And then I just did The Fires of Heaven, book 5. So The Wheel of Time is a classic epic fantasy. It basically follows a chosen one quest adventure. The characters that we're following, they're like the reincarnations of great heroes of history. And throughout history, the heroes have been fighting the Dark One. They're just locked in this vicious cycle where like they'll defeat each other, but they never totally vanquish each other. And that's why the cycle and the wheel keeps repeating. There's a lot of political maneuvering going on between kingdoms and religious factions and magic wielders. Because there's so many characters, parts can feel slow. And when he jumps around,
It's like you have to wait your turn to get back to your fave. She's grabbing her tracker because she has a book tracker.
The Great Hunt, I rated 3.75. The Dragon Reborn, I rated 3.5. A Shadow Rising, I rated the highest, which is 4. And Fires of Heaven, I rated 3.75. So we're having a good time. Is this the greatest reading of my life? No, but it is super solid.
Ooh. We also just did a really fun video with our brother where he spoke about his flops and the books that hit for him. And it's fun to hear him and Maddie talk about The Wheel of Time. Like, you guys are selling me on the buddy read experience. I think we should go in a totally different direction. Let's go to romance.
Oh, okay. Hey, there is some romance in The Wheel of Time.
Okay, well, this is news to me. Makes me more likely to pick it up.
The main character has, I kid you not, like 5 love interests.
Okay, well, we're not talking about Zodiac yet, so hold on. This is Bridgerton, books 1 and 2 by Julia Quinn. So this is The Duke and I and the Viscount Who Loved Me. It reminds me of Jane Austen, and I love that era. It is super different than Jane Austen, but it gives similar vibes because it is a large family and the mother is trying to get all of her children married. So book 1 is about Daphne and her love life. I have already seen the Bridgerton season 1, so I kind of knew I was going to like it. Like, this is kind of my thing, but I liked the book the same, if not more. I just liked the extra dialogue. I like the things that you can't put in film, the little like mental conversations people are having. So book 1 was a really strong start, and I would rate that 3.5 stars, which is solid, and I would recommend to people. Book 2, which is The Viscount Who Loved Me, I didn't like so much. It was just kind of weird. I rated it 3 stars. It is Daphne's brother, Anthony, and his love story with Kate. They're both coming from pretty like traumatic places, and that's just not my favorite love story. So this could be somebody else's favorite love story. Love that for them. Don't love that for my reading. So
of the 8 Bridgerton siblings, which one would you say right now you are the most excited to read their book? Because for me, it's Eloise.
Oh, I was going to say Eloise, like, yeah, that's going to be a fun time.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about the nonfiction book that I picked up at Kristen's recommendation, Existential Kink by Carolyn, Elliott. Now, we did get to interview this author. She was great, and we're so grateful for her for coming on and telling us more about the work that she's doing. But essentially, Existential Kink is a book on working with shadows, but in a very playful, accepting way, in the hopes that we can make like the unconscious parts of our lives, the things that we don't realize that we do habitually and in patterns. It's just shedding light on those, not being afraid of them. Like, okay, so you like drama, or you like feeling poor, or you really like spending money, and you do this thing habitually and you're a little embarrassed about it or ashamed of it, or maybe even unaware that you do it. And this just like brings awareness to it. And once you're aware of it, you can decide what you want to do with it. And there's no judgment and there's no shame around it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it is, then you can check out our interview with Carolyn, and you can go check out the book Existential Kink.
Okay, next I have a book that you've probably never heard of before. It is like breaking the internet right now.
Oh boy.
It's Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Very first book is The Fellowship of the Ring. This is our Patreon book club book for January. So we read the book in 4 chunks, and then we would watch the part of the movie that goes over the chunk that you just read. It just made for an epic experience. So I don't know if I need to give you the premise of this book because most people know, but this is an epic fantasy. This is a classic. There are songs, there is found family, there is romance, there is lore for days. We go over all of that in our weekly deep dives on Patreon, and we've been doing it with Maddie's husband, Mitch, who read the Silmarillion.
Good job.
Which really gives you so much history. So I have such a new appreciation. It is my all-time 5 infinity bazillion stars. It's so good.
Yeah, I loved my time going back through it. It's been so like connecting, doing it with my husband and with Kristen, obviously, but also just sharing it with the Patreon and so many people who are reading and watching for the first time. It's so foundational to modern fantasy. It's like even the rating system I came up with for like characters, plot setting, themes, emotional impact, and overall enjoyment. I'm like, I literally think I built that system based on Lord of the Rings. Like, if it's not that level of world building, I don't want it.
We don't want it.
If it's not these characters, I don't want them. Don't feel like you're late to the game. If you want to join our Patreon, the deep dives are there. If you follow the schedules that we've put out, fun. Obviously, we love buddy reads, though. Like that's just how we do it. If you love to read alone, don't join. But yeah. Something very similar to Lord of the Rings is the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac.
Listen, I have been in Zodiac Academy for, almost 6 months now. And that series is 24 books if you read every single novella, every single spinoff. So I'm just taking it in bite-sized pieces. And the piece I decided to bite off most recently, based off of a reading order I found online, is The Ruthless Boys. And it is 5 books. I'm just going to, like, for giggles, show you this, like, little cover moment.
Please. Bless the people.
And this is the steamiest series I have ever read in my entire life. And I mean this from a place of appreciation. It was written well. Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, they know how to write some of the best spice I have ever read. However, if I never read another spice scene for the rest of my life on planet Earth, I am complete.
Guys, this series broke Kristen's brain.
It broke it. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about it really fast. Obviously, it's 24 books, so I'm just going to tell you Ruthless Boys is about Elise, who is a vampire, and she goes to Aurora Academy because her brother was murdered while he was there, and she is going to try to find out who his murderer was. While she is there, she meets many people, 4 of which are hot guys who are all obsessed with her. And this entire story is her relationship with not 1, not 2, not even 3, 4 men.
But why?
Because she can't choose. And why choose? You know, it's a why choose situation. So I have never read a book with this much interesting spice. I did have to look up some diagrams online.
Diagrams?
Yep. I said, I'm not tracking here. I'm not sure if I'm tracking. But now I've learned some things. I've learned a thing or two. But I rate both of these books for their category 4 stars.
Okay. All right. Well, not to compete, but the last book of the month that I read, I think can wipe the floor with that one.
Yeah. So we did save the best for last.
This is a little sci-fi novella called This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Mohtar. Essentially, this is a book about the future, and there are 2 secret agents, warrior agents on opposing sides. One of them is part of this like organic type regime in the future, and the other is part of like a very tech heavy agency in the future. These are 2 alternate futures. they cannot both exist simultaneously. So their agents travel back in time along the time braid, as it is called, to fight each other, but also just like change things in history so that their agency's future is what comes to pass. The two main characters of the story are opposing agents who write each other letters across space and time. I know. Do I have you hooked yet?
We love time travel.
It's an aching, pining love story. What I will say about how the book is written, it's very stylistic. It's very purple prose. It's not very explicit. Everything that I just told you about what's happening is not given to you. You have to kind of like puzzle that out. I think for that reason it can be confusing or complex, which can make you not enjoy it. I think that people are super polarized on This Is How You Lose a Time War. No one's like, 3 stars. This was decent. Everyone's like, this is fucking everything, or this was garbage sauce. Do not recommend, burn it all. So I think...
But look how short it is. Like, it's not super high stakes to give it a go.
It's a masterclass in earning your pages. This is why I read. I just want to read it over and over again. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much for watching our January reading wrap-up.
And if you're interested in rating your own books or using a rating system or tracking what you're reading in 2025, you can get my tracker sheet as a member of our Patreon. You can learn more about it in this video. And if you want to track your reading with us this year, we'd love to know what you guys end up reading this year and what your favorites are at the end of 2025. Bye, guys.
Bye.